Hello, hello, and welcome to the first episode of Umineko no Naku ni Chiru, which means that we made it past the halfway mark and we're diving right into the second half. I'm very hyped for this. It's gonna be great. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff that you're not gonna be ready for, but like in a good way, you know? Yeah, in a good way. Anyway, yeah, let's just let's dive right in. I hope you're ready. Actually, I think I forgot to do the content warning. So just in case, content warning. For Umineko Chiru, End of the Golden Witch, the upcoming episode. Character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, child abuse, discussion and mentions of suicide, and misogyny. So, yeah, keep that in mind as you watch this. Or if you choose not to watch that, that's okay too, of course. Anyway. Yeah, with that, I think we're good to go. For this second half of the series, I'm using a different mod this time, so things are a little different. There should be more, there should be functional animations now, which is gonna be incredibly awesome. Because the original game had like falling rain and stuff, and the older mod that I was using for the first half wasn't able to make that work because of engine issues. But this version fixes all that, and it's basically a direct basically it requires you to own the original game and the PS3 versions, and it kind of meshes them together and mostly uses the PS3 engine. So things are a little different. But mostly in a good way. There's also like trophies and stuff. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see. One of the downsides is the fonts are not as good. Like this is very hard to read for me, but hopefully it should all be fine. But yes, I promised to explain kind of the naming conventions of everything. And that's gonna be tough, because it's confusing. So the first 4 games together are Umineko no Naku Koro ni. Then the PS3 version of those 4 games packaged together is Rondo of the Witch, of the Golden Witch, I think. I already forgot, because it's too long a name. And collectively they're referred to as the question arcs. And that's also how they're listed on Twitch. Then the second half of the series, so that's episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8 packaged together, is Umineko no Naku Koro ni Chiru. And the PS3 version is Nocturne of Truth and Delusions, which is easier to remember and also sounds very cool. And collectively those are referred to as the answer arcs. So the first 4 episodes, or arcs, set up questions, and now that we've hit the halfway mark, we are going to get answers, is essentially the promise. But don't expect the answers to be like, oh, in this closed room murder, this is this exact solution. This is what it was. This is what was happening. The answers are there. Everything will be explained, but it will not be super duper clear. The answer part is more in Well, let's just say, Beatrice asked last week, who am I? 2 weeks ago, if you're watching the videos. She asked us, who am I? And that's what we're gonna get the answer to. So let's dive right in. She asked Battler, who am I? Yeah. Episode 5, End of the Golden Witch. Good morning. Please enjoy the new game, with its new game master. I say that, but the game has already reached its climax. The culprit has been cornered, and merely awaits checkmate. I am sure there will be something you can spot from this clearer perspective. The difficulty is fairly easy. What could possibly fool you now? Oh, no, she didn't die. But she wanted to. Yeah. Wait, how? I don't want to. So this is a fun little thing. If you finish one of the episodes, you can go back and then perform witchcraft to jump forward in time, as in go to a different chapter, so you don't have to play through the whole thing again. I didn't know that it did that, even if you don't save. But let's pretend that I was never here. This story is undoubtedly nothing more than fantasy. It could not possibly have any relation to real persons, organizations, places, or events. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that I own multiple copies of multiple versions of all these games because I'm a giant fucking nerd. To the point where I have the CD copies that were initially released, but I don't have a CD player anymore. Or a DVD, actually. That's how old I am. Yeah, let's just dive right in. You idiot. Isn't it obvious? It'll be fun to kill her and see the pained look on your face. Why else? Look. Don't turn your eyes away. Look at it. Look. It's magic. It's furniture. No matter how much you try to deny me and magic. Look. Sorry, Battler. It was pretty interesting. And still, I was just trying to do what Master told me. But it really did work very well. Oh, we got notes. I hear after acting Tsuntsun and exploring the depths of cruelty, if you act properly incompetent and dead, you can get a massive rise on that goodwill meter thing, right? Wasn't that the original line? I feel like that was the original line. Did they adjust this? There might have been slight adjustments to the translation. Because it was based on rather than... Anyway, long story for another time. Also, I think the sprites got an upgrade with the second PS3 game. So that's cool. That lonely tone was the sound of the desolate wind blowing by. The color of the glittering flower petals on the rose bushes was that of gold. The group of gold butterflies which had once danced through this golden rose garden like fluttering rose petals could no longer be seen anywhere. The master of the Golden Land is the Golden Witch, Beatrice. She could be called inhumane and cruel. arrogant and outrageous, and also naive and simple. That laugh of hers, which lost its grace more and more the longer it continued, could no longer be heard. The golden witch, Beatrice, sat like a doll, resting in a deck chair adorned as beautifully as the golden rose garden. She wasn't relaxing there. Empty-eyed, never responding to any questions, and yet still not permitted to sleep. Beatrice was sitting there as if she was a doll. Her hair was down. I need to drink some water, apparently. The feels got to me. And Virgilia was carefully fixing it up with a comb. If Beatrice had been complaining about this and that regarding her hairstyle, then it would have been clear that she was the usual Beato. However, she gave no responses and showed no reactions. So instead, it only looked like Virgilia was combing the golden hair of a large doll. Alongside them, there was a table. On it was a chessboard, along with a mix of black and white pieces in an all-out battle. However, something about the setup looked different from normal chess. It might have been a game similar to chess, but not identical. And on the other side, sitting back in his chair as he contemplated his next move, was a young man. No, perhaps he wasn't thinking of his next move. Every once in a while, he would change the position of the pieces, reconsidering the situation each time he changed it. Maybe he was reconstructing previous games and trying to discover the thought process behind those moves. In the past, Kinzo, the Ushiromiya family head, once likened studying chess games to taking a journey through the thoughts of the old masters. Ushiromiya Battler was on a journey in search of the Golden Witch's thought process, which had led her to create these arrangements and make these moves. Battler took a black piece which she had only just moved forward, and returned it to its original place, sighing deeply. Battler's pieces were white. However, on that chessboard, the side facing Battler was Black's territory. He was stepping through the game from Beato's perspective. The more I do this, the less I understand your moves. Even Battler didn't expect that Beato would respond to that statement. No, he was still holding on to the hope that there might be a chance for her responding. And it only made it sound as though he was talking to himself. Beato's eyes reflected nothing, and her mouth told nothing. After begging him to kill her, the Golden Witch had become a corpse which had given up on living. She wasn't sleeping. She was forbidden to step down from this game, and therefore, sleep was not permitted. So she must have heard. However, his words probably hadn't reached her heart. The Golden Witch would no longer sneer at Battler's moves, nor would she praise them or belittle them. Beatrice was no longer anything more than a living doll. Even so, she would glance at him every once in a while. It would be an empty glance, but a glance nonetheless. Sometimes she would seem to make some sort of gesture or even move her lips. However, her movements were never able to communicate anything to Battler. What led you to make this move in the situation? I don't get it all. I don't understand your moves. Beato, Ballerkin is talking to you. Say something. Snicker or guffaw if you want. I don't even care if you use that shrill laugh of yours. It seemed unbelievable. That shrill laugh of Beato's would never be heard again. However, even if she couldn't answer, his voice was surely reaching her. Battler was talking to her because he believed this. So he said the same thing one more time. What led you to make this move in the situation? I don't get it at all. I don't understand your moves. So, her thoughts don't make any sense to you? Virgilia answered in her disciple's stead. Up to this point, she had done her best to avoid speaking for Beato. After all, there was a chance that Beato would respond in some way, and Virgilia didn't want to be the one to take that opportunity away from her. Which meant that Battler was being forced to bear with the silence, until Beato herself answered. Virgilia could no longer bear to watch him like this. And Battler, too, wanted to have a conversation with Virgilia, with faith that their words would reach Beato's heart. Yep, I don't have a clue. The more I try standing in Beato's shoes and moving the pieces like this, the less I understand. The successful execution of a serial murder following an epitaph. He was stepping through the games from which side, with that as the victory condition. But he just couldn't make it fit with Beato's moves. You could see several incomprehensible moves in the records of their past games that clearly conflicted with that victory condition. I don't get it at all. This journey through her thinking process is just too rugged. Even so, you won't give up, will you? Will you? That was a statement, not a question. Yeah, I promised. Kill me. Let me die. I promised to let her die peacefully, and I'm the only one who can do that. I need another bit of water. Oh, that hurt. Alright, I think we're good to dive back in. Let me just, it'll, yeah. If you want like a complete rundown, I can do that in a DM later. Don't worry, I got you. But yes, it's been a rough day, / however long it's been, for our favorite, I was gonna say people, but she's not people. Because she's a witch. It's been a rough day for our favorite witch. There we go. Beato's right ankle was bound with a heavy, cold steel shackle. It wasn't tied to anything, so it didn't restrict her movement. However, it symbolized restriction. It was a visualization of the restriction that prevented her from leaving the game without either victory or loss. And the shackle was probably hurting her. The mercilessly cold steel shackle was tormenting her over and over inside her waking dream. So there was never any relief in her empty expression. Her eyelids would sometimes tremble like she was having a bad dream, and every once in a while, she would let out a pained gasp. Unless I win, Beato will never be released from the curse that prevents her from resting in peace. Are you not in a hurry? It seems that the fifth game has already started. I'm not interested. Why should I take part in any game without Beato as an opponent? If that's the only alternative, then stepping through past games on a journey in search of Beato's thought process is a much better use of my time.
I'll be the next game master. Any objections? You have none, right?
I have tons. Beato has abandoned the fight and lost consciousness. Isn't this loss by default and game over for her?
I'll admit that a lot's happened to Beato, and it feels a teensy bit like she's been knocked out right now. But that doesn't mean she's lost the will to fight. That's why I'm acting as a resistant. Get it?
Beato was lying down on a deck chair, almost as though she was sleeping. However, she wasn't sleeping, and she wasn't awake either. She was nothing more than a living doll who had given up on victory, asked Battler to perform her last rites, and entrusted everything to him. Fun fact, that part hurts more on the second playthrough. Of course, no fifth game would ever be prepared if everyone just sat around. Last episode had succeeded Beato as the game master. Let me just put it that way. And proclaimed that she would prepare the next game. Do you want me to say, like, this game is between me and Beato? If someone mentioned anything about King's Own Red, who you two are, do you want to, but I'm gonna just let you carry on without us.
No one asks your opinion. So, Bird, do you accept or not?
Wait, I would have to double check if that was actually said so I don't accidentally spoil things, because it gets a little It gets a little hard to keep track.
Go and succeed her position.
What the hell? How dare you say that? I don't know who you two are, but I'm not gonna let you ignore Beato and me and just carry on by yourselves.
Calm down. Of course a different player will choose different moves.
My throat's a little fucked up
You
today.
might have a lot of reason to feel uneasy about the idea, but even so, it could give you some big hints, right?
I'll throw up my break screen. Who cares? And who put you in charge? Look it up real quick. Beato's game is repeated 4 times, and you still don't understand anything, right? In that case, I think that changing the player might lead to some huge hints. It's none of your business. This is our game. Beato prepared it, and she designated me to be her opponent in it. I don't know what hole you two crept out of, but I don't want you screwing the witch. I don't want you screwing things up. Oh yeah, because I'm the witch now. Never mind. I'll take over from here. Really doesn't understand. In that case, wake Beato up and make her get the next game ready. Can you? That's what Beato will be getting up for a while. That's fine. But there's no need to start. There's no need for a new game. Just the 4 games she's already laid out are more than enough. Even if there is to be a 5th game, it just needs to be something that Beato lays out and I challenge. You two have absolutely nothing to do with this. Yep. Balor couldn't hide his irritation at
confirmed
these two witches
Kinzo
called Lady
dead.
Delta and Baron
Super
Castle,
dead.
who had shown up after the game's start and who had started to try and continue it on
Word
on
for
their own.
word, the red truth.
It looked like these witches were of an even higher rank than Beato. So high, in
Kinzo
fact,
is already dead
that even
at the
Beato's
starting
master
time
Vigilia
for
couldn't
all
come close.
games.
Balor had the feeling that he'd seen these two several times before. However, this was the
Wait.
first time he had learned their names and
Hold on,
spoken to
I
them
can
directly.
actually.
You can't get the next game ready without making Beato. That's why I'm going
Oh
to
wait, I
prepare
made
it
a
instead.
blue here too. Damn,
Listen,
wrong
Balor.
color.
We are so patient that we're willing to wait however long we have to for Beato to
I thought
regain
in this
consciousness.
specific window,
Right, Vern?
it would be red still. Oh, it's a single
I don't
source.
like
I'm dumb.
boredom.
Okay, no, we're good.
It really ticks me off.
Just pretend that it's not blue.
I really don't care whether you get bored or not.
Yeah.
Come on
Nah,
now.
it's
Leave everything to perfect
Yeah.
on the Delta Sama, okay?
confirmed
I'll take
in
over
the
as the
last
game
episode.
master. Don't worry, I won't play with too much certain perfection. I'll act all Beato-like and
Thank
prepare
you.
plenty of clues, bonus hints,
Yeah,
and
so
fakes
just
that make
for
no
a little bit of
sense.
context,
I'll make it into one big
not last week, but the week before that,
hint to help you understand Beato's world even more.
it ended with Beatrice saying, like, "Please let me die." Right?
Letting my voiceless emotions explode. I
And
slammed the table hard.
That later turned
The
into
two witches barely flinched.
because it was like flashed on the screen
One
really
grinned.
big.
The other looked indifferent, as though nothing had happened.
That later on turned into
The two of them just stared
please
at me
kill me.
silently, as though they were reproaching me.
The only way Battler can do that is by denying Beatrice's existence,
What's this?
by winning.
Not
the game.
satisfied? Are you saying you'll step down for my 5th game?
And for a
Isn't
while
that a
there,
loss by default?
she kind of.
Balor won't step down. Of course he'll participate in the 5th game.
Well, initially,
Don't just
Balor
decide that
was,
for yourself.
doing really
I'm not
well.
gonna play along with you two.
And she wasn't fighting back
I don't
at
give
all.
a shit.
And then she started fighting back a little bit, but as Lambda pointed out,
Then it
she
really
was
is lost by
letting him win.
default, right?
Still,
The witch side wins this
she
game.
was just less obvious about it.
The humans submit, and we wrap
And
things
then at
up
the very end, if you step down,
She asks
Then you
him,
lose
"Who
by
am I?"
default
And he
and the
doesn't
game
know the
ends.
answer.
are you okay with that?
And
If you want
this
to make
is
certain
what
that your
remains of
lonely
Beatrice right
sister
now.
will always meet with miserable circumstances in an endless number of worlds, that option is indeed open to you. When Berncastle mentioned Anja, Balor's expression changed instantly. How dare you talk about Anja so casually? It's because you have me, the Witch of Miracles, Berncastle, as your ally, that there exists the possibility of a miracle in which Anja's family might come home to her. Well, if you throw that chance away yourself, guaranteeing that Anja's endless futures will all end in sorrow, that might be pretty interesting for me too. I vaguely understood what she was saying. Until I win Beato's game, I'll remain trapped in this bizarre world. And if I abandon victory, then most certainly, my parents and I will never return to Anja. For Anja's sake, even though I know that the witches are toying with me, I must keep on fighting. Damn. What's wrong? You look unsatisfied. Did you already forget the anger you felt when your sister was turned into mincemeat? That spectacle where she was torn to bits, ripped to pieces by countless red-hot pliers. Do you need to look at it directly this time? Berncastle faced the palm of her right hand upwards. As she did, a pale light gathered there, and some kind of blue glowing crystal appeared there. A scene was reflected on its sharp surface. But it wasn't the scene that surrounded them now. If you looked deep into that crystal, that fragment, then you would probably learn what was reflected on there. If you stared at it, then you would surely witness that scene where Anje finally reached her beloved brother after devoting 12 years of her life to that goal, only to have her entire body torn to bits while she was still alive. Damn you. Without thinking, he grabbed at her collar, but as soon as he touched whatever made up her form, it disappeared like foam on the waves. And then, as naturally as though she had been there from the beginning, Berncastle was leaning against a distant wall. If you step down from the game, this will become not just a fragment, but a definite reality. I won't be the one to weave that future. You'll do it yourself. So you decide, alright? Figure out what you want to do with your beloved little sister's future. Balor's fists shook with anger, but even if he swung them down, he wouldn't be able to hit Berncastle. Like a cat or a phantom, this witch wouldn't even let someone pet her if she didn't wish for it. Yeah, it's like, gee, what are you gonna decide to do about this literal, actual blackmail? Gee, better make a choice. Well, I mean, they're the bad guys. Besides, she's telling the truth. For Anja's sake, I can't step down from this fight, even if these unpleasant witches hijack the game board.
That's just like you, Bern. Even the way you frighten people into doing what you want is heartless. That's how it is, Battler. You aren't allowed to step down from the game board. You and Beato are both nothing more than pieces on the game board who exist to distract us from our boredom. Even your incomprehensible anger and irritation make for a wonderful treat to sate our boredom. Well, this level of anger only makes for a cheap snack. Like those curry-flavored potato wafers that sell at 30 yen for a pair. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Lou. Yeah, that's a choice. Ridiculous. But they're witches, so it makes sense that they're ridiculous. You damn witches. But for Anja's sake, okay? And for Beato's too, right? In a way that was admonishing, or perhaps babying, Berncastle smiled, tormenting Balor in a similar way to how something too sweet sometimes gives you a headache. The host of this tea party, Beato, was absent now, and the guest witches were already making themselves at home.
What'll you do? You should be a battler? Surrender to fate? Just step down. You've had enough of being toyed with as a witch's piece, right? It's tough being one of Bern's pieces. You'll be a throwaway just like Anje.
I'm not giving you the option of stepping down. Keep fighting for the sake of your sister's future.
I'm on your side.
Until you win, I'll support you so that you can reach that future. For all eternity. Until I get bored. Balor couldn't allow himself to fall for their provocation and cajolery. These witches knew that he got mad easily, and they were trying to take advantage of that. Battler withstood it all, and finally relaxed his clenched fists. If you want to start this 5th game of yours, then just do it. Do whatever you want.
Oh, I will. Hey, where are you going?
Even though Battler had acknowledged this 5th game, he turned his back on them, which surprised Lambda Delta a bit. If you're going to be Beato's substitute, then I'm sure that Burncastle witch over there can be mine if she wants. Not a bad idea. Otherwise, this will turn into a loss by default.
What the heck? Are you gonna just ignore this episode 5 that I put so much effort into making? Rude, rude.
Battler says he's going to take a break for a while. Until he comes back, I'll be the substitute player. How's that sound, Battler? You do that. What's wrong, Lambda? If your opponent is me and not that fool Battler, you won't play?
Of course I will. I'm glad I get to play with you, Burn. Come on, let's play, let's play. Let's play together in Lambda Delta Sama's super hyper and cute episode 5.
This is a world that Beato created, remember? You aren't going to ruin the atmosphere of the story, are you?
Don't worry about that. I'm really good at reading between the lines for that sort of stuff. I made sure to use a Beato-ish atmosphere, and I made it into an even more interesting story. Battler, make sure you come back as soon as your break's over, okay? It'd be a shame to miss this. I've prepared plenty of bonus hints that'll get you closer to Beato's secret. Is what it'll look like, but I'll actually fill it with misdirection and make things more and more confusing. Wait, hey, Battler, why aren't you listening when a witch is talking?
Girl, he's gone. Without answering, Battler disappeared into the darkness. After shrugging and cackling, the witches immediately started playing with the game board they had stolen from Beato. These two do have a sick love relationship, and him never coming back would be such a power move. Can those witches really understand Beato's game? Since they're using the same game board, they cannot do anything that this child cannot do. However, they can do things that she wouldn't do. What do you mean, things she wouldn't do? The materials of chess exist to play chess with. You cannot use them to play cards. However, as for throwing the chess pieces at your opponent or scribbling on the board, doing such things is not impossible. However, that would be blasphemy against the game of chess, so people don't do that. That definitely wouldn't be chess anymore. It looked like Beato's eyes clouded very slightly with sadness. Damn them. This game is between me and Beato. I won't let anyone else profane it. Dorave, I missed you so much. Welcome back, my boy. Excuse me, I'm fine. At that time, gold butterflies gathered and Ronave appeared, holding a tea set with black tea. Thank you for also appreciating this good butler boy.
Would you like some more tea? If you wouldn't mind. Certainly. So, how has this journey of yours in search of Milady's thoughts been? I'm as clueless as ever, but I'm enjoying it. On a different topic, are you certain about this? Relaxing here, I mean. Are you talking about the game those witches are playing all by themselves? Yes. Just now, when I went to serve them some tea, the murders of the first twilight had already taken place, and it seemed as though the next murder would occur shortly. When Beato and I were playing, the game would be paused whenever someone left their seats. However, those witches wouldn't pause that game just because I wasn't around. Listen, Lulu, I know what I like. And it's this butler boy. I mean, just look at him, he's a boy. I use that term very broadly, I will admit. Ronave, did you see their game? Just a part of it. How was it? Boys can have mustaches, okay? Oh my god. Is this bullying? Is this bullying? I'm kidding, but... Maybe. Okay. Fair. Fair. I did ask. Ronave lifted the pot high with an elegant gesture as he poured the black tea. After he was done, he finally spoke, expressing his thoughts in very few words. It did not have love. What do you mean, love? My apologies. That is how it would be put if a woman were to say it. As a man. Boy. Perhaps one could say it was dishonorable. I understood what those words meant. When I met Virgilia's eyes, she shook her head slightly and stared at the floor. At a glance, I believe it resembles Milady's games greatly. However, the foundation is very different. Does it go against the rules of Beato's game? No, it does not. Lambda Delta Sama understands the rules of Milady's game very well indeed. However, Balor stood up. There was no need to make Ronove say anymore. Balor-kun. Sorry, Ronove. I know you went to all the trouble of pouring this for me, but tea isn't what I need. You will go after all? Yeah. We don't need any outsiders in our game. Those guys weren't even here in the beginning. Because I've been loafing around, crazier and crazier witches have been introduced. And now they've hijacked this game between me and Beato. I've got to take it back. I'm supposed to be the one taking care of Beato's game board now. That means I shouldn't just sit around here. Thank you. I wanted to let this child hear those words. I'm sure she hears them. Milady is simply unable to answer. Beato lay there silently, like a living doll with dull eyes. The game board that she had created herself had been hijacked by incomprehensible people and was being turned into a mess. Beato had called on me to be her opponent. Then this game must be something she created for me. I
got to take it back. You just wait here. I'm going to take it back. Of course, Beato didn't respond in any way. That's right. If she can't respond, then I have to protect it in her place. I'll be right back. Virgilia, Hronove, I'm counting on you two to look after this golden sleeping princess. Yes, leave it to us.
See you later, Battler-kun. And please, try to discover some part of this child in their game without her. If you can, then it will mean that you have fought with her, even in her absence.
You're right. Yeah. This is no goddamn good at all. What am I doing? Let's go. And let's take it back. Sorry to keep you waiting, witches. My break is over. When he faced the jet black heavens and yelled this, the whole world shattered, as though it were made out of thin glass. Then, as though it had been that way since the beginning, it transformed into that smoking room where Balor had fought Beato so many times, and which the two witches had now hijacked.
What do you think you're doing? You're only coming back now. It's way too late. Not only has the game reached the second day, it's already at the finale.
You never showed up, so I just advanced things on my own. Yeah, like you ever even waited for me in the first place.
Baron was way sharper and more thrilling than you were, right?
Shut up. I'm the player here. You substitute witches can just take a step back now.
Well, I don't really mind if you join in starting now, but there's probably no need for you anymore. Seriously? After all, we're already at the climax. After this, Byrne will probably corner me and win.
What the hell? Why not, though? Let's let him watch the final moves.
Yeah. Come on over, Ushirame Battler. It's almost completely over, but here's the cute and elegant game I made. Episode 5. End of the Golden Witch.
Is that a threat? That sounds like a threat. Oh. And here are our tips. Let me just catch up. Yeah, I love it when they're all like backing each other up and stuff. Beautiful. Also, yeah, no, yeah, I can't help it. He's my boy. Not like literal like you're a baby kind of, but like I just call everyone I like who is I throw the word boy around like it's candy basically. Let's just say, you know, leave it at that. I like it's a nice word to use. I don't know. Yeah, that Balor just went from like being kind of just sad and hurting my feelings to being a fucking badass. You with Bro? See, similar. You understand. Alright. So this is the first time that one of these has popped up like in the game without me accessing the menu at all. So that kind of tells you, you know, shit's gone down. Something unusual is happening. And especially since I don't have the buttons like there were at the end of the... Like when you finish an episode, you get all of these tips, and you get little buttons that you execute and revive people to check their various statuses throughout the game that you just finished. But here I don't have the buttons. It's nice that they're all like here clickable though, because in the Steam version and in the old, well, the initial version of the game, you had to click one portrait multiple times to see all 7 sisters, and it was random. So you could potentially be clicking like 30, 40 times just to catch one of them that you were after specific. And yes, demons do not like wearing clothes, as you can see. Unless, well, don't know if it wears clothes. Fragile wears clothes. You can't even see your hands. It's only a couple people. Yeah, gap. But yes, let's dive into the game. Looks like the first twilight has happened. Oh my god. Kinzo is alive. The aged head of the Ushiromiya family, brimming with energy despite being pronounced to only have a short time left to live, amassed a vast fortune but has never made any announcement about his inheritance, which worries his children. Strongly influenced by the West and a rabid fan of the occult, his study is packed with mysterious grimoires. Also alive, Kraus, Kinzo's first child, leads the family conference as the eldest of the 4 siblings. However, the other siblings suspect that he plans to claim the entire family fortune for himself, and the antagonism between him and the others grows increasingly severe. A real estate investor, he has put a vast amount of money into the development of a resort. However, his results have been harshly criticized. Yeah, more power, more clothing. Wait, then explain gap. I guess she's less powerful. Anyway, Natsuhi, Kraus's wife, manages the household of the Ushiromiya head family in place of her husband, who takes little interest. For this family conference, again, she was the one who took charge of making all the preparations and arrangements. Possesses a strong sense of responsibility and a great deal of pride. However, neither her husband nor his siblings understand her very well, so her position is far from enviable. Jessica. Corpse discovered in the cousin's room on the upper floor of the guest house. The direct cause of death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound was deep enough that anyone could easily confirm her death with absolute certainty. Okay, yeah, that explains gap. Thank you. Ava, Kinzo's second child. Hostile towards her brother Kraus and opposes him in almost everything, from issues dealing with the family fortune to the question of who will succeed the family headship. Normally, she would have lost her place in the Ushiromiya register upon her marriage, but she managed to forcibly overcome this by having her husband take her family name. Hideyoshi. Corpse discovered in a guest room on the first floor of the mansion. He had been pierced through the back with a demon stake. Its tip reached as far as his lungs. Because he was lying face down on the bed, suicide must be ruled out. George. Corpse discovered in the cousin's room on the upper floor of the guest house. The direct cause of death is unknown, but his neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound was deep enough that anyone could easily confirm his death with absolute certainty. Rudolph, Kinzo's third child. Along with his sister, Ava, he intends to make his voice heard during the family conference to prevent their elder sibling, Kraus, from keeping all of their father's wealth for himself. Lost his former wife, Asumi, 6 years ago, and married his current wife, Kiria, straight after that. Kirie, Rudolph's second wife. They had been business partners for a considerable length of time before the passing of his first wife, at which time she openly took the position. Served as Rudolph's right hand in several shady pieces of business, guiding them to success. Quick thinking and deeply trusted by her husband. Also extremely cool. Battler, the son of Rudolph and his first wife, Azumu, turned against his father 6 years ago when he married his second wife, immediately after Azumu passed on. He went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. No, extremely cool, as in a badass because she's so smart. He went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. However, both of these grandparents passed away, and he's now returned to the Ushinomiya family after 6 years. This family conference is a chance for him to renew his friendship with his cousins after a 6-year gap. Which becomes especially harrowing when you notice a certain little pattern on where the red is here. They're all gone. Nanjo, Kinzo's attending physician and longtime friend, once ran a hospital in Nijima, but turned it over to his son, and now enjoys his old age in peace. One of the very few people that Kinzo trusts, now that he is held captive by an unrelenting suspicion of others. Big-hearted by nature, he has maintained a long friendship with Kinzo, unperturbed by his tendency to fly into a rage at the slightest provocation. Excuse me for the noise, I hit my desk. Rosa. Corpse discovered in the cousin's room on the upper floor of the guest house. The direct cause of death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound was deep enough that anyone could easily confirm her death with absolute certainty. Maria. Corpse discovered in the cousin's room on the upper floor of the guest house. The direct cause of death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound was deep enough that anyone could easily confirm her death with absolute certainty. Genji. Corpse discovered in the servants' quarters on the first floor of the mansion. The direct cause of death is unknown, but his neck has been sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound is deep enough that anyone could easily confirm his death with absolute certainty. Shannon. A young but experienced servant. She's normally calm and performs her job flawlessly, but she messes up when she gets nervous. Furthermore, Shannon is nothing more than a pseudonym that she uses when on duty, not her real name. Kanun, a young servant. Performs his duty silently and diligently, but due to his unsociable nature, he is not so highly regarded as a servant. There are several other servants with the On character in their pseudonyms. He and Shannon just happen to be the ones on duty that day. Goda, servant employed as a chef. While he hasn't served the family long, he has a polished talent for entertaining guests, cultivated through his previous jobs, and is highly regarded as a servant. Since he was hired by Kraus and his wife, he is more trusted than those servants who have served the family longer and who are thought of as Kinzo spies. Kamasawa. This elderly woman is a part-timer who has served the family for a great many years, despite quitting her job several times along the way. Shrewd and more than competent when it comes to performing her duties, but because of her chattiness and love for rumors, she is not highly regarded as a servant. Damn, they are just dunking on her. Okay. This is interesting compared to the other crime scenes so far. Ah. Yes, thank you. I will drink water right now. Yes. Okay. So the deaths confirmed. Jessica, Hideyoshi, George, Rosa, Maria, Genji. Interesting thing to note that Genji, no. everyone's death lines up except for Hideyoshi. Apparently. And, Jessica, George, Maria, and Rosa were all in the same room. Upper floor of the guest house, upper floor of the guest house, upper floor of the guest house, upper floor of the guest house. Yeah. That's where we're at right now. The second day, October 5th, 1986. Oh, look at that rain. Beautiful. Beautiful. Interesting. Right now, no humans exist on this island, except for those in this parlor. And with one exception, it has been shown that none of them have committed murder. And the culprit is among these people. Whoa. In that case, it's conclusive, isn't it? Unless the culprit is a witch who committed murder with magic, that is. It was you? You killed George. You killed my husband. Why? Why? I didn't kill anyone. I didn't do. In a panic, and with a voice that really couldn't be called flowing, in a manner that was, to put it coldly, unsightly, Aunt Natsuhi denied the suspicion placed upon her. However, there was no longer any way around it. The girl stood up, brushed back her long hair, pointed at Aunt Natsuhi, and said it one more time. I didn't come up with a voice in time. We run a very professional stream in this household. I'm not going to overdo it because she has a lot of lines. She does look very cute.
You are the culprit. Ishinomiya Natsuhi-san.
You love that it was better than the anime already?
Anything is better than the anime.
Also a banger, absolutely. I like how there's subtitles. That's cute. That's a good addition. Yeah, big fan, big fan. Big fan. I also love that we're not going to get an answer to who that is just yet. I remember reading this for the first time being like, this character's on the cover of this episode, so, you know, beforehand you know that she's gonna show up. But I still remember being very fucking confused. Having answers would be boring, yeah. I'm here for the mystery, I'm not here to have it solved. That's a lie. I'm here for answers. We'll get them in time. Okay. It's Natsuhi. Please open up. Natsuhi yelled as she knocked loudly and repeatedly. Shortly after, there was a heavy clunking sound, and the sound of the door to Kinzo's study unlocking could be heard. We're here for the himbos and the dominant women. Aren't we all? As the door opened, a heavily sweet, venomous odor flowed out. Natsuhi was always ashamed of how she automatically grimaced at that, even though she thought it rude to the family head. Kraus was waiting for her inside the study. Natsuhi flew into his arms.
It's father. Is he?
Calm yourself. Dr. Nanjo is examining him now. With an uncertain gait, Natsuhi went forwards to the center of the study, supported by Kraus. There, a dignified bed fitting for the head of the Ushiromiya family could be seen, along with Nanjo, Genji, and Kumasawa.
Dr. Nanjo. His father.
After sighing deeply, Nanjo left the side of the bed. On the bed, Kinzo could be seen lying down, sleeping. He died peacefully. I don't think Kinzo-san had any regrets. Crying noises.
Father.
Sobbing, Natsuhi put her head against the chest of the man who had fallen into a sleep from which he would never awaken. Madam, please stay strong.
Father. This is just too sudden.
Natsuhi couldn't stop her tears over the death of Kinzo, whom she had loved like a second father. Kumasawa rubbed Natsuhi's back, consoling her. Kraus slumped into his late father's favorite chair. By sitting there, he might have been immersing himself in memories of his departed father. Or perhaps he thought that by sitting there, he might be able to understand just a bit of the madness of Kinzo's later years, which had eluded him to the end of his father's life. Nanjo turned his back and looked down over the outside world through a crack in the curtains. It was the same thing he'd often done when Kinzo sat in that chair contemplating a chess move. If he was to die anyway, it would have been better if he was sick in bed for a year or so before dying. I do wish he could have died after a grace period during which the proper arrangements could have been made. It's the other way around. We should be glad that he was in high spirits until the very end. That will have to be my public stance, yes. Nanjo understood that as well. This was the death of Ushinomiya Kinzo.
A man who had risen like a comet and glittered like a supernova in the post-war world of business. His funeral would probably be of a fantastic scale. And it would also be the ceremony marking Krause's inheritance of the headship. He would have to arrange everything as the host of the event, carry out funeral diplomacy perfectly, and make it clear that the Ushinomiya family would still hold enormous influence in the political and financial spheres. As Nanjo watched Krause, he was vividly reminded of the time when Kinzo had been suddenly selected as the Ushinomiya family head. A time in which Kinzo had been lost and confused. Nanjo could remember that well, and for that reason, he was able to understand Krause's distress and sympathize with it. Natsuhi's sobs eventually subsided. Seeing this, and leaving Kumasawa to care for Natsuhi as a fellow woman, Genji returned to Krause. And he lowered his head slightly, as though asking what should be done. Genji-san and I will deal with the formalities. Krause-san, perhaps you should contact the relatives first. Krause, with his hands still over his eyes, didn't respond. Perhaps even though he had known this day would come, Krause really couldn't hide his shock at how suddenly it had reached them. Leave this to Dr. Nanjo and me. Krause-sama, I suggest that you first speak with Madam. Maybe she heard that, or maybe it was a coincidence. As though responding to Genji's words, Natsuhi came over. Her eyes were red from crying so much, but she apparently understood the heavy responsibility that had been imposed on the two of them, even better than Krause did. As of now, you are the head of the glorious Ushinomiya family. Let us show our relatives and the world that you have splendidly succeeded your father. As your wife, I am prepared to serve you until the day our coffins are laid down alongside each other. Trying to encourage her husband, who was overcome with shock, Natsuhi lent him some reassuring words. When Krause finally lowered the hands that had been covering his face, he looked up at the ceiling with a blank expression and let out a deep, deep sigh. Please, stay strong. There are a great many people who will intend on helping themselves to everything Father has left behind. We must fight to protect Father's honor and wealth. That is the first responsibility of the Ushinomiya head. I understand. I do understand. Dr. Nanjo, Genji, please take care of the legal and funeral arrangements. Words are hard. Especially you, Genji. I ask that you take particular care to see to it that the funeral will be a fitting one for Father. Certainly. Dr. Nanjo, Father didn't pass away in a hospital, so... Yes. An autopsy might be required, depending on the circumstances. Is there anything you might be able to do about it? Even though he has passed away, Father's body is precious. Any damage to it would not be acceptable. I understand how you feel. However, it is important to follow proper procedure when things like this are concerned. And, I don't really know how to say this. I fear that several of your relatives might be difficult. There is no way to know what those inheritance vultures might try to find fault with. They might squawk that there was something suspicious about the cause of death and use that as a point of contention to start some trouble. Right now, not only was it important to pay Kinzo's remains the respect they were due, but there was also a need to focus on solidifying the position of the new family head, Krause. I understand. In that case, please keep it to an absolute minimum. And whatever you do, please make absolutely sure that Father's dignity remains unharmed. That I can assure you. Please don't worry. In any event,
Leave Kinzo-san to us and stay by Krao-san's side. Things are only going to get tougher for him.
I understand. And you too, dear. Please stay strong.
Kraus was still staring lazily at the ceiling with a befuddled expression on his face. Natsuhi understood the shock and heavy responsibility. She felt that she understood her husband's feelings as well as anyone possibly could.
I will contact the relatives. Please rest for the time being. Hey Magikarp, welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
Kraus didn't respond. Natsuhi thought he was being a little bit weak, but that just made it all the more important for her to support him right now. Seeing her husband like this actually stirred Natsuhi up, and a resolute expression rose to her face.
Things are going to get busy. Let's get started with whatever we can do right now. I'm sure my husband wants to have some time alone with father. We should step out for the time being.
Yes, I think that would be best. After all, I expect this will be the only time he'll have. Being in charge of a funeral is tiring work. There's no time to shed tears. If Kraus were ever to be given time to cry for his dead father, that time would have to be now. Everyone agreed with Kumasawa's words. Even then, Kraus continued to lazily gaze up at the ceiling and didn't respond in any way. Natsuhi urged the servants to go.
I'll go talk to Jessica too. She's the successor to the head now. I'll have to impress upon her that she needs to be appropriately aware of it.
Wait. As they each started to make their way out of the study, Kraus finally spoke. They stopped walking.
Yes?
Wait.
Yes?
Hadn't she already stopped walking, just like her husband had asked? But despite that, he had once again told her to wait. From those slightly weak words, Natsuhi understood that he had probably stopped her because he wanted her to be by his side.
The rest of you, downstairs. I will stay with my husband. Please call us on the phone if anything happens.
Certainly. I said wait! When Kraus suddenly raised his voice, everyone jumped and turned around. And I have to quit reading because it is midnight and I have to be up in time for work tomorrow. Ooh, we have chapter names in the save files now. That's nice. Okay, honestly, this is a cliffhanger for sure, but I'm sure that most of you who've been following this can guess what Kraus is about to say. And, yeah, thank you for dropping by, Magikarp. It's a shame that the Wednesday ones are gonna have to be shorter now because I have to get up in the morning. But you know, there's always next time. And I'm glad you're doing good. But yeah, just out of pure paranoia, just double checking if I saved. Yeah, it's rough to balance, cause you know, I'm not starting anything up. I'm just clicking that so that the intro doesn't cut in every 30 seconds, because it does that. But yes, I think this is a good point to end it for next time. Solid episode.
lots of questions for next time, like what's Gro's gonna do? What's his plan? Who is the girl? Well, I know. I'm gonna pretend I don't though. And what's gonna happen to our favorite people and also witches? But yes, next time we're gonna continue with Chudo. Also known as the answer arcs, and we're gonna get our answers at last. Yes, your himbo. And yeah, yeah, just, you know, same old, back on Monday with, I don't know what yet. I'm gonna try to upload the videos to YouTube quicker than last time. The VODs get like autosaved to Switch, but I also make sure to highlight them. But you know, I highlight them when I make the YouTube video, so that might be a little late. Cause work, I'm busy sometimes. I'll do my best. Cause I appreciate you all a lot. Yeah. No, we wrapped up Mist last Monday actually. It's done. So we're gonna, I don't know yet. Chill or creepy? Maybe. Can it be both? I don't know. I'll think of something. I have options. You know, but we shall see. You didn't notice because there's no super distinct end to Mist. It's a weird one. You get dunked back on the island, it's like, hey, wander around, I guess. I've shit to do to set up the sequel. It's a weird ending. So you didn't miss anything. Don't worry about it. Yeah, okay. I keep thinking I'm forgetting something. And that's because I am. We're still gonna do the anime watch party in the Discord at some point. Ideally when most people can make it. So there's gonna have to be planning with people in multiple time zones. So who knows when that's gonna actually happen. But it's gonna happen. I'm not giving up on this. We're all gonna watch the atrocious anime and laugh at it and feel sad at the same time. At some point in the Discord. The link to the Discord is, if you're on Twitch right now, it is on my About page. Yes, we're all gonna suffer together. But, you know, Gap's in it. I don't know if it's in it. Our favorite himbo's in it. I guess it can't be that bad. It's that bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. It should be paradise. It's not. But, you know, shared suffering is suffering halved. I think is how the saying goes, maybe. I don't. Who knows? I think that's a Dutch one that I'm turning into English. Who knows? I'm a little sleepy, so I'm rambling. Yeah. Okay, save it for later. I'm gonna be, like, online for a little longer. Oh my god. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really raid people anymore. Because most of my friends don't... Like, most of the people that I know who do streams don't stream anymore, and, like, my numbers are as, like... bad, low. Not that that matters, let's be real. If even one person watches, I'm more than happy. And also with like the hate raids, I've been more reluctant anyway because oh boy, you know, I don't want to give people heart attacks. And also I'm going late to bed right now. There's a bunch of reasons. You understand. Yeah, there's literally no one online right now. So that's a shame. Because I try to at least check people out beforehand, you know? So that's a whole... Instead of like dunking you to people who are, I don't know, like not cool. And then I have to leave because I have to go to sleep. It's like if you were to like kick your guests out of the house into a random house on the street and then you go home. It's weird. Oh sure, yeah. For next time maybe. Because it is fun. Yeah, Granddad got to sleep today. Yes. Like, you can tell I am rambling, and this happens when I am tired. I just don't know how to do words good no more. Anyway. Do I ever know how to words good? Nah. Whole bones need to rest. I know you're joking, but it's true. It's true. Okay, but yes. If you've been following Umineko, or if you just want to see some real bad anime, you're welcome to join us in the Discord. And then we'll all suffer together. It'll take some time to plan, I'm sure, but I mean, that gives you time to catch up, right? If you haven't been caught up. Then on Monday, we're gonna stream a game. I don't know which game. Maybe I won't stream a game, maybe I'll stream something else. But on Monday, stream. Hell yeah. And then on Wednesday, we're gonna be back, and we're gonna delve into what on earth Kraus is about to say to his family and his servants. And, you know, I'm gonna turn off the endless seagulls now. Because there's no mute function in this version of the game. But yeah, more streams soon. I just play some nice music for you. And I know, sorry. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. Especially to those of you who've been following the series, or you know, even if you just show up occasionally because you've already watched it or whatever. Thank you for being here. I love this game. I love sharing it with people. And it's so much fun to read through it together. And I mean, we finished half of this enormous, very long series. That's impressive. That's amazing. And I couldn't have done it without you all, so thank you. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great week. And I'll see you next time. And yeah, have a good one.